Hey guys, this is Mr. Sandoval, back with weekly video number 7, and the title is Unicellular Organisms. Okay, single-cell organisms or one-celled organisms all mean the same thing, okay? And let's remember to check your materials, check your folder, check your agenda, check your Jupyter grades. Alright, packet number 2 is going to be coming up pretty quick. That's going to be due. Not yet, but it will be due soon. So make sure you have those homework videos, microscope labs, cells Cornell notes, you have some selling cells article that we discussed the other day, and laptop internet pages, okay? That was organized this week, so it should still be all good to go. Alright, and again, make sure your backpack is organized. I was very happy with the backpack check in class. Everybody did a really good job, and there weren't too many loose pages and stuff, crumpled up papers in your backpacks. Okay, you need a piece of lined paper and fold it Cornell style and title it Homework Video Week 7 Unicellular Organisms. And again, if at any point during the video you feel like it's going too fast, you can feel free to pause it and catch up and think about what I'm talking about and what you're watching. All right? So let's remember that multicellular means many cells, and that's what we have, right? We have specialization. Remember that word, specialization and differentiation. Our cells are special. Each cell is different. They have different shapes and sizes and different jobs. Just like plants you see here, they have specialized cells. And we're able to have that because we have so many cells. Also fitting into that category are fungi, which include mushrooms. They have specialization as well. Now, different than that are bacteria. They are single cell. They are just made of one cell. It's an organism made of one cell in the world doing its own thing. There's also another class or group of organisms called protozoans, and they're very small, but they're bigger than bacteria, but again, they're very microscopic. We are going to look at these in the microscope during week 7, okay? We'll be looking at live organisms, live protozoans, and they come in many different shapes and sizes, but they only live as one cell by themselves. But they're more advanced than the bacteria. So bacteria and protozoans are single-cell organisms. They're the very first organisms that were on Earth, and but they are very simple at the same time. But they're great survivors. They've been around for a long time. Okay, again, here's just a little chart showing you that unicellular means one cell, multicellular means many cells. And I want you to remember, what coming up in just a second here is you're going to be watching a couple or a few videos within this video, and I want you to be thinking about these pieces here. How are single-cell organisms helpful in the environment, and how are they harmful, and where do you find them? Where do they live, and how are they important to the environment? Okay. You'd be amazed at where we could find single-cell organisms. They live everywhere. They live around us, they live on us, they live in us. We use them to make products, to make food. They're very important in the environment as decomposers and making oxygen. They do photosynthesis just like plants do. Alright, so there would be no life on Earth if there weren't single-cell organisms. That's how important they are. Okay, so keep that in mind as you're watching these next couple of videos, and I'm going to drop out and then come back in when the videos are over. Alright, so watch these right here.
The little wiggling rods seen here are one-celled organisms called bacteria that are busily swimming around in a drop of pond water. Bacteria are the smallest living things and are among the simplest organisms on Earth. They belong to a special group or kingdom of living things called the Monera. Bacteria are found almost everywhere. The vast majority of them are helpful and play key roles in our environment, in industry, and in maintaining human health. These good bacteria include the decomposers that work with other organisms, such as worms and molds, to convert waste materials into nutrients that enrich the soil. The food industry uses bacteria to convert milk into cheese, yogurt, and butter. And trillions of bacteria live inside of human beings and make vitamins for our bodies to use. Unfortunately, Even though most of them are good, bacteria are probably best known for the problems they cause. These include such things as food poisoning, tooth decay, strep throat, and infected wounds, to name just a few. Doctors use drugs called antibiotics to kill disease-causing bacteria.
Alright, so that's bacteria. And the next video is going to be about protozoans. So let's watch this one.
Protists are one-celled creatures that are classified into a separate biological kingdom from bacteria, called the Protista. The main reason that protists are classified into a separate kingdom is that their cells are larger and a lot more complicated than those of bacteria. Protists live in moist environments. Some live in fresh water, and some live in salty water. They come in a much wider range of shapes, sizes, and colors than bacteria, and they often form into groups of identical cells called colonies, like this one. Protists play a truly enormous role in our environment. The plant-like protists produce a large amount of the Earth's oxygen, about 70 to 80% of it. They absorb lots of the greenhouse gases that warm the planet. And protists are a vital source of food for larger organisms, such as fish and shellfish.
So you can see how the protists or protozoans, how important they are to the environment, and they're really cool looking. You can see they have very many different shapes and sizes, and they have little hairs, and they swim around, and they just look really cool. So we're going to be seeing those live in the microscope in the next week. Okay. And here's a video on multicellular organisms, just kind of review how they're different than single cell. Okay, we'll watch a little bit of this.
Multicelled organisms are creatures that are made up of large numbers of cells. Scientists classify multicelled organisms into three separate kingdoms of living things: the kingdom of animals, the kingdom of plants, and the kingdom of fungi, consisting of organisms such as mushrooms and molds. Large, complicated, multi-celled organisms like this elephant are made from billions of cells. But smaller and simpler multi-celled organisms like this sea anemone are made up of a much smaller number of cells. Multi-celled organisms have many different types of cells. Human beings, for example, have nerve cells that respond to the environment and send messages to the brain and muscles. They also have red blood cells that carry oxygen in the bloodstream, and strong bones that are made from cells that contain large amounts of a certain mineral. In addition to these three examples, complex organisms have lots of other types of specialized cells as well, and all of them need to work together in perfect harmony.
Alright, so that's multicellular organisms. Alright, oops, and there's a typo at the top of the page. Ignore that, please. Okay, so again, unicellular, single cells. They're everywhere. They're really small. They're very important. Multicellular, many cells. That's us. Okay? Alright, so here's your assignment for homework video week 7. Unicellular organisms is the title at the top of your page. And I want you to write down, how are unicellular organisms helpful or useful? Okay, list 2 ways that they're important to the environment, that they're important to humans or in any respect. And how are they dangerous or harmful? Okay, again, if you want, you can rewind and see some of that video within the video, and it was very explicit. They explained that very clearly, how they're helpful and how they can be dangerous. Alright, and there's different ways, and when we say that they're dangerous, it doesn't mean that they're necessarily deadly, but they are, I guess, harmful. They're not helpful. Okay, for example, they cause tooth decay. Bacteria live in your mouth, they live on your teeth, and if you're not cleaning and brushing your teeth, they feed off of that. They feed off the dirt and the sugar that are stuck in your teeth, and that can break down your teeth and cause cavities. And so that's a harmful way. That's a way that they're harmful. I guess I just gave you a free answer, so I want you to write down a second one, okay? And answer this question: why do you think unicellular organisms are so successful and able to be found everywhere on Earth? Why they are the first life on Earth, and there are more of them than any other living organism. So why do you think they're successful, and why are they found everywhere on Earth? They're found in the oceans, in the water, cold places, warm places, everywhere. Why do you think that? Give me 2 to 3 sentences, and then draw a couple pictures of something to remind you about unicellular organisms. Alright, so get that done, and I will see you in class. Have a great day. Bye.